Hello, and welcome to the 72nd in an unknown number of podcasts. It's the 1st of July, so obviously I'm going to wish you all white rabbits and say a pinch and a punch for the first of the month. Now, it's a strange thing that these are the words or phrases that we use at the start of every month, and perhaps it's become so much of a tradition that we've kind of lost sight of the origins. Now, a quick internet search reveals that one theory for a pinch and a punch comes from medieval times when people believed in witches, and they thought that a way of protecting yourself from witches was to throw a pinch of salt at them and then to punch them to get them away. The idea of saying white rabbits, again, a theory, somebody heard their children saying it, and it's first recorded apparently in a book called Notes and Queries in 1909. Now, for those of you who've been on the receiving end of a pinch and a punch, you may well have retaliated with a flick and a kick for being so quick. But these are things which over time, people have traditionally said at the first of the month. Now, another tradition that seems to have passed me by, but as I was flicking through the TV channels, there was an advert for one of the channels where they were saying they were going to show Christmas films for the duration of this month. It's a promotion they've called Christmas in July. And upon, again, further inspection, quick internet search, it turns out it's a thing. There are some people, predominantly in Australia and America, who celebrate Christmas in July. Now, like I said, this is one of the traditions that seems to have passed me by, but it's something that people do. Now, speaking of traditions, there will have been a time when nobody said the words white rabbits on the first of a month. A time when nobody offered a pinch and a punch either. If the theory is to be believed, and if it's correct, then pre-medieval times, no one was going around throwing salt at potential witches and punching them to ward them off. And again, at some point in the 19th century, perhaps, nobody was heard to say white rabbits or rabbits on the first of a month. And there may well have been a time when nobody was celebrating Christmas other than in December. And so it brings me to the slide that we see here. Perhaps there are some things that you have taken up during lockdown. Pre-lockdown, these were things you didn't really do. But as a consequence of being in lockdown, you may have started the day doing some exercise, whether it's with Joe Wicks or just going out for a walk. You may be using Zoom, and it may become a weekly feature that everybody catches up, whether it's family or friends. It may well be that while you're at home, you've now established a regular evening for board games. Or, dare I say, perhaps one of the traditions is to tune in and listen to the podcast. Whatever the case, there will have been a time when we didn't do those things, but we've started to do them now. Which leads me on to the calendar from Action for Happiness. It's now become a tradition for me to share the calendar on the first of every month, so it outlines what people have suggested are things that we can do during that month. And it may well be that as a result of this, you now establish some form of tradition. There might be something suggested on this monthly calendar that you now do that you never thought of. There may be those instances where you insist on trying to keep in touch with the people that you don't often see in a more regular and effective way than you used to. There may be times when you are looking out for your friends and their mental health in ways that perhaps didn't bother you before. Now, you may find that now at the start of a month you're getting into the habit or established a tradition of writing down 3 things that you're grateful for, or writing down a list of things you're looking forward to do and accomplish in this month, where in the past it might not have been something that crossed your mind. So, whether or not this calendar leads to some form of tradition, or whether or not there are certain things on here that as the month goes on, there may be something where you take comfort in being able to read or do some of the suggestions. As part of my tradition, at least, I'll maintain that so that on the first of this month, I share it again with you. So, until tomorrow, Be kind, take care, and stay safe.